People ask me about myself, how do you feel about yourself? How do you view yourself? I'm like, I'm beautiful, I'm talented, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I'm creative, I have a beautiful heart, I have a beautiful soul, and I'm strong. And they're like, you must be full of yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm not full of myself. I see myself clearly. I see myself as a gift. And because I am a gift, I treat myself as a gift. And because I see myself as a gift and I treat myself as a gift, that means when you come into my presence, you have to match my energy. We have to be equally yoked, right? Because I don't want to carry anybody. I've done that already, right? I've been stuck in that matrix where I didn't see myself clearly, right? And all that brought me, guess what? What they brought me? It brought me burdens. It brought me other people's nonsense and bullshit, right? Because I didn't see myself clearly, thinking that I needed them. And I'm like, oh no, baby, you need me. But you can't get there until you see yourself clearly and you talk to yourself in the appropriate manner. And that is by self-assurance of who you are, self-praising and confirmation of all these beautiful gifts that you have within you. Make sense? Hey my beautiful souls, welcome back to Refining with Jessie, the life coach. I hope everybody has been doing well, has been fabulous. If you have not and you've been in that down space, don't worry. In time, things will change and things will get better. So guys, if it's your first time here with me, welcome, come on in. My name is Jessie, love to have you. I'm a life coach. I hope you stay, subscribe, be part of our tribe. But guys, today we're going to be speaking about something super important, and it's about putting respect on your own name. How to validate yourself. This is a super important topic, especially for women. Since I am a life coach, I coach only women. I see it all the time how women do not see clearly who they are. So today we're going to be talking about it. Because there are so many people who do not know how to do this for themselves. So before we get into diving into the whole how to do it, we're going to speak about why it is so hard to do it to begin with. So number one, and the biggest one, is that people do not see themselves clearly. Many people do not see themselves clearly. They cannot see the beauty and the gorgeous attributes that they possess. They just can't see it within themselves. And they're too busy relying on other people to tell them about themselves instead of seeing it in themselves clearly. The second reason why validation is so hard for so many people is because there's an origin of a deep shame that's associated with it. When we seek self-validation, it's usually shut down, right? You stand up and it's like somebody comes down to kind of put you in your place, put you in your lane, right? They want to knock you off of your high horse. On top of that, there's so many conflicting narratives about self-validation. It's like on one side, people tell us, yes, get up every day and say these mantras of how beautiful you are and how capable you are and how loved you are and so on and so forth. But then if you try to do that, it's knocked down, right? If I were to come in here and you ask me, are you beautiful? And I'll say, yes, I'm gorgeous. I'll be looked at like, really? Really? Her ego is huge, right? She thinks she's all of that. Or who she's trying to impress, right? If I dress a certain way, if I speak a certain way, she forgot where she came from, right? There is so much negative connotation with people who feel good about themselves and don't seek outside validation and have that self-validation within themselves. When it's self-made, everyone is trying to knock it down. And so because a lot of people don't want to feel that shame, what they do, they stay in a box. They keep who they are or these beautiful attributes to themselves or speaking about it, they keep it enclosed, right? Because it's like, well, I don't want to be shamed, so I'm not going to speak up of how amazing I am. The third reason is the projection of others' lack of self-worth, right? Every time another kind of goes and steps into the spotlight, there's always someone who actually has a lack of self-worth, that it shines on them, the counterfeit part of themselves, the part that's not authentic, the part that's not living in their self-love and what they want to do. They want to project it onto others. So once again, that shame comes out, right? It comes out from every angle and every direction. And the fourth reason is women have been groomed and instilled with this belief system that validation is seek outside of ourselves. There's certain things that we need to have as women to make ourselves feel valuable, make ourselves feel worthy, make ourselves feel like women. 1 is marriage, 2 is a relationship, 3 is kids, and 4 is just the attention of men and people outside of ourselves. It is so true for women. Women are aspired to actually seek marriage. And once we have, we get that marriage or that relationship, that means that we are worthy, right? If you see another woman who's single and she's in her 30s or 40s or 50s, it doesn't make a difference if it's her personal choice or if that's where she's comfortable at or that's what she chooses to do. People look down upon that and see as she's not really successful because she hasn't actually acquired that one thing that will make her successful, right? Or if she's not married, it's like, I don't know. I mean, can I seek her advice? Is what she's saying really valuable and worthy? Or if she doesn't have kids, then she hasn't fulfilled her purpose, right? Those are all forms of validation, and those are all forms, once again, of shaming. See, this is the thing with validation, right? When you seek it outside of yourself, so many people benefit from that. And this is why so many people have been groomed to believe to seek validation outside of ourselves. And I truly mean every single corporation and foundation is built on us not knowing our self-worth. All the way from the cosmetic industry to the health industry to cosmetic surgery, right? Everybody benefits. It's a whole crazy system, right? So instead of us shaming the people and the systems and the belief behind the whole idea of seeking validation outside of ourselves and shaming that, no, what we do, we shame the people who are brave enough to be who they are. We shame the people who come up here and you ask them, are they beautiful? And they're like, yeah, I'm gorgeous. Right? We shame those people because how dare them? We go and persecute the people who are brave enough, free enough, right? Certain enough to be able to say, this is who I am and I believe in myself and I love myself and I'm proud of myself and I'm brave enough to say it, right? We try to sabotage that. We try to break that down. Anybody who's self-assured and self-assertive enough to do that and brave enough and free enough to break from those matrix and break from those chains and not seek outside validation for who they are and what they are and the beauty that they possess and the uniqueness and the creativity and the gifts that they are, no. We go and we persecute those people. We shame them for standing in their power. It's a crazy system if you really think about it. See, there's a freedom of not following the crowd. There's a freedom to being able to have that validation within you because you become powerful when you are not looking for anyone to encourage you or anyone to, toot your horn or anyone to ring your bell or anyone to tell you to keep going or anyone to tell you, you know what, that's right or wrong and you know it for yourself. There's a power behind that. And of course, when you break free from that matrix and you hold that power, what do you become? You become powerful. And people want to silence that. People want to keep you stuck in the matrix. Why? Because like I said, every industry benefits from you not knowing who you are. Not only every industry, but every person. Because when you don't know who you are, you become that people pleaser. You become that person who's looking to others for validation. You become that person that's leaning on everybody else to tell you who you are. You look to other people to tell you how beautiful you are. You look to other people to tell you which direction to go. You look to other people to tell you which road to travel on. You look to other people to tell you what career to have, how to do your hair. Is this clothing, is it appealing to you? Is the way I'm doing it, is that okay for you? But who does that benefit? That's not benefiting you. Actually, it's keeping you stuck because you have no idea who you are and you're not being your authentic self, right? Because you're too busy living for other people. So you have to be able to see it clearly. How do you validate yourself then? You see it clearly. You have to see what comes with invalidating yourself every single day. Every time you look from approval and consent from other people, right? You're living what they want you to be, and they're writing your story and they're writing how you are viewed and how you are accepted. And you want to be able to do that for yourself. So in order for you to do that, you got to look at everything I just said and take it apart and see how that's benefiting you. And if you look very closely, you're going to realize it's not benefiting you at all. It's benefiting everybody else except you. See, there's a whole methodology to this, right? Because when you feel you have little impact, guess what? You won't have a big impact, right? When you're too busy stuck and worrying about what other people are going to say about you, right? Being shamed, you don't want to feel that shame, so you worry about what other people are going to say, so you don't make your voice be heard. You don't show people who you are. You don't come out, speaking about yourself in a confident manner. You dim your light. When you're worried about what others are going to say about your self-assuredness and your self-assertiveness, it keeps you trapped. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you chained. It keeps you bind in a sense, right? Your poise, your tenacity, your spirit, your certainty about yourself gets tamed. What happens when that happens? You become uncertain. You become hesitant of who you are. And then you look outside of yourself for confirmation of who you are and what's okay. You look outside of you for confirmation. You look outside of yourself for approval. You look outside of yourself for the okay to be who you are. Like I said, it's a method. So you have to be able to break away from that to truly be able to seek validation within yourself. Because the truth is, you don't need anyone's approval, anyone's confirmation, and anyone's okay to be who you truly are. And not only be aware of who you are, but say it out loud and say it proudly. 2 is to start releasing the false shame that's connected to expressing love and admiration for yourself. When people ask you, how do you look? How do you feel? What do you think about yourself? You are gorgeous. You are beautiful. People ask me all the time and I say I'm beautiful. I have a quick story for you. So I actually once took this survey, right? It was like a test of, I think it was like our energy or something like that. And few of the questions were about how we saw ourselves. Did we think we're beautiful? How do people perceive us and things like that? And one of the questions was, how do you see yourself? How do you rate yourself on a scale of like 1 to 10 or something like that? And the person had asked me, I bet you put it that for you it was sky high. And I was like, mine was pretty high. Yeah, I think I'm beautiful. And the person just gave me a look, right? It was a look of not being content with my answer because they didn't love themselves, right? But this is the thing. Just because it makes other people feel uncomfortable because they don't feel good about themselves should not stop you. And you should never let other people project their shame and disapproval onto you. How they feel about themselves and the fact that they cannot validate themselves because there's something deeply rooted, within themselves. There's a hole there of lack of self-love. That does not concern you. It has nothing to do with you. So don't let other people project their insecurities and their lack of self-love onto you. Just because I say I'm beautiful doesn't mean that takes away from you. That doesn't mean that you're not beautiful, right? Why can't we be beautiful together? There's around 7 billion people on this planet. There's different forms of beauty. If I say I'm beautiful, doesn't mean that you're not beautiful, and it doesn't take away from your spotlight, and it doesn't take away from you standing on that stage with me, right? And it's not saying just because I think I'm beautiful that I'm the most beautiful person on this planet, right? People would see things how they want to see it, right? They will make something positive into a negative because that's who they are. They have an unwillingness to be able to see the truth, right? Because they're stuck in this matrix and this illusion and this deep, dark shame that has been put on to people who validate themselves. If that's where they're at and you're freeing yourself from that, let people stay where they are. You work on yourself, you focus on your own journey, and you focus on your own validation. You cannot validate yourself and others. If they cannot see themselves clearly, that is their journey to go down. The third way of seeing yourself clearly. Stop letting others project what they are not and what they cannot be onto you. Do not let them shame you for seeing yourself in a beautiful light. And the fourth tip to get you to start learning how to validate yourself is to start reprogramming your beliefs around validation. I just pointed out all these discrepancies, right? And misdirection of what validation is and how it benefits everyone else, right? So that's a programming that needs to die. And we need to take away that shame that's attached to it, right? The only validation that is lasting and that will forgo the run is going to be the self-made validation you have for yourself. You have to believe in yourself when people do not believe in you. You have to believe you bring something to the table. Heck, you might be the goddamn table. And people do not see that clearly because nobody has told them. But you have to look at it for yourself. Look at your talents, your abilities, your creativity, the love that you have within yourself, the nurturing, the energy that you bring forward, your strength, your capabilities. You have to look at that all as a whole and see yourself clearly. Because you, like I said, might be the whole goddamn table. You have people making you feel like you have to go and compete to get a seat at their table, when you don't need their table because you are the table, right? So get real comfortable on starting to let go of these false belief systems that people project onto you, that society makes you believe that you're not good enough, because we're always good enough. If you're working on yourself and you're working on self-improvement, that's the first step, right? That's the first step to healing misdirectional programming within yourself. When you validate yourself and you don't need anyone to tell you who you are, you become powerful. You become unstoppable. And that's the energy we need to start instilling in a lot of people. You can stand alone. You don't need to stand with the crowd. You don't need to follow people. You follow your own direction to your own authenticity. And in order to get there, you have to be able to see yourself clearly. There's a lot of women in coaching with me that do not see themselves clearly. And this is what I teach them. I teach them step by step by step how to get off and get away from these old programmings of someone or something that told them that they need to be seeking validation from the outside sources. You're not whole until you have this. You're not complete until you have this, right? No, that's incorrect. You're not whole and you're not complete until you see it in yourself and you start following your own path and your own soul passions that come from within. Validation goes a long way in every areas of our lives. So seeing yourself clearly is super important. And if you struggle with that and you need help with that, seek me out so I can show you clearly who you are. So guys, that's all I have for today. Learn how to validate yourself. Stop seeking it outside of yourself. The more you seek it outside of yourself, the more people are able to destroy you. The more people are able to control you. You don't want to be in that position. So, kisses and smooches for everyone, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.